Hey everyone, Richard Metalfan here, bringing you guys a new album review for 2016, and today we're going to be looking into the new album from After the Burial entitled Dig Deep, which came out yesterday through Sumerian Records. Now, for those of you who aren't familiar with After the Burial, they're a metal band from Minnesota that formed in 2004. I got into these guys about a couple years ago, and I saw some of my friends post about it, and I checked them out, and I dug what I heard. I wish I could have heard about them before because I actually think they're pretty good. And this album, the new album Dig Deep, is actually the follow up to 2013's Wolves Within, which I honestly thought that was a good album. So still think In Dreams, in my opinion, is still their best album to date. But yeah, and this new album is their first album without founding guitarist Justin Lowe after his departure and tragic death last summer, which is really sad he's no longer around because I heard he was such a really great guy, and he's pretty much one of the principal songwriters for the band. But I'm glad that these guys are continuing on without him. I think that's what Justin would want. And yeah, when I first heard the first single back in October, Lost Anesthetic, I was kind of interested, like how would they sound without Justin. But when I first heard it, I was like, wow, they basically still managed to sound pretty good even after Justin's death and no longer being with them. And then we get to the new album Dig Deep, which I actually saw streaming on the Sumerian Records, a YouTube channel. And I decided to, you know what, I'll go check it out. I saw a lot of my friends talking about it and saying some good stuff about it. And I went and checked it out, and I was like, wow, it's pretty good. I mean, it's basically kind of like something similar to like their older stuff and the last album or two kind of mixed into one. I mean, the production on this album is pretty good, pretty damn good. The vocal work from Anthony Notomaso, so I mean, his vocals just sound just really just his growls and screams are just insane. And the guitar playing, I mean, Trent Halfadell's guitar playing, since he's now the only guitar player, plays both lead guitar and rhythm guitar. Or I mean, he basically just a lot of the great riffs. I mean, riffs on this album is pretty good, and the bass playing is pretty audible. You can hear sort of Lee Farrell's bass playing, and the drumming from Dan Carl is pretty much insane on this album. It's just wow. But without further ado, let's dive into this album track by track. The 9-track album. It now opens up with the song Collapse, which just kind of kicks off with just some fluttery and just some choppy riffs and sorry, excuse me. And just the drumming on that song is just insane. It's a really great way to open up this track. Sorry about that again. And then we get into Lost Anesthetic, the first single. Like I mentioned, this song just also just rips through. It's just some elegant guitar riffs. I really like that a lot. It's like the first single I heard back in October before the album came out. It's a really great song. I actually dig it. And then the next on the album is called Mire, which is just a very upbeat type sound. It just shows a little bit of a darker vibe to it. And it's pretty much one of the darker songs that After the Burial is done. I really like that. Then we get to a Deluge, which is just a very fast-paced track, and it just doesn't let up at all. It's just the guitar riffs on that song is just really just powerful. I love that a lot. And then we get to Laurentien Ghosts, if I'm saying that right. Right, it just kind of has a different tone to the song. It has a little bit of an emotional effect. I feel like this is pretty much one of the best, pretty much the best song on this album. It's just after losing Justin. I mean, it feels like how it feels like this song feels like losing a friend. Yeah. And then we get to a Heavy Lies to Ground, which is just nothing short of brutality with some very harmonic and the really great drumming tempo in that song is pretty good. Then we get to Catacombs, which is just a trudging song. It also shows some more melodic side to it. I also really like the little small acoustic stick break in it, break for a little bit, and it just goes picks back up to the insane guitar solo, which just shows some really great technicality in there. It's really great. And then we get to the Endless March, which just the guitars are pretty good. It's just some punchy palm muting, And this song is just a very grooving track, and I think it's pretty good. And then the album closes with Sway of the Break, which is just an explosive ending. It's just a really great way to end this album. It's just an explosive ending with just some melodic guitar works. And I really like the breakdown in that song. Is pretty good. Now, overall, Dig Deep by After the Burial, it's a pretty good album. I definitely need to pick this album up when I get the chance. So yeah, if I were to give this album a score, I'd probably give this like an 8.5 out of 10. It's a pretty good album. I was quite impressed, actually. So yeah, that's my review of the new After the Burial, guys. Thank you guys for watching. See you on the next video. Keep it metal.